back to my channel, Black of the Berry, where life is sweeter because we keep it real. Today we are here with another reaction, and this is gonna be from Patrick CC from Billboard #1 to Prison, the scams of Sean Kingston. Now, Sean Kingston is very much nostalgic for me. I am of Jamaican descent as well, and this was a big freaking L, yo. I'm telling you, he disappointed a lot of people. We had faith in Sean Kingston. I had no clue that this was going on behind closed doors from the Jamaican community. I apologize, Justin Bieber. That was not a good look. But yeah, we're gonna get into this video. I love Patrick CC. His videos are real good. Yeah, his videos is real good and whatever. So I'm gonna just we're gonna get into it and see what's up.
100 is something most artists will never do in their entire career. Sean Kingston did it with his debut single at age 17, but today he is in federal prison. Instead of using his talents to create more timeless art, the musician put all of his effort into fraud, forged wire transfers, and luxury scams. Sean became so deeply entrenched into this world of crime that his own mother got involved, and now she is actually serving a longer sentence in prison than him.
Mommy, you should have leave it alone. Bad to bad.
Again, when you're 15 years old and sleeping in...
Me never even want to keep this something freeze on her face. God no. Me never want to do it to her. The comment was not correct though. From my understanding, the mother, this is in her league, let's say that. I don't think it was a I don't think he coached her on anything. I think that's why she got more years than he did, because they realized like she was
in a car while your mom is behind bars for bank fraud. It's safe to say that the odds are stacked against you. Unfortunately, this is the exact situation that an undiscovered Sean Kingston found himself in. Sean was no stranger to crime during his years growing up in Jamaica, catching himself a breaking and entering charge at only 11 years old. But thanks to his roots, he was no stranger to the power of music either. His grandfather was Jack Ruby, a well-known reggae producer who worked with the likes of Bob Marley. Sean was inspired by his grandfather's story and saw music as a way out of his situation.
My mom left, I was on my own, you know, and it forced me to become a man early and to get on my job. And I always said to myself that when my mom get out of jail, like, I'm gonna be picking her up in her dream car.
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business.
With a one-way plane ticket and $300 in his pocket, Sean went to LA at just 17 years old, where he slept on couches of distant relatives and old family friends. He began posting his songs to MySpace under the name Franchise in hopes of getting noticed, and eventually he did. Record producer J.R. Rodham saw potential in the 17-year-old and signed him to his label Beluga Heights. Sean got to work on a full-length rap album under the name Franchise, but everything would be scrapped when his producers heard him sing for the first time.
And overnight, they decided to change the entire Franchise rap album into a singing album, because this dude sang and they didn't realize that he could sing, and they changed Franchise's name to Sean Kingston.
This decision would shift the entire trajectory of his career. His debut single was called Beautiful Girls, and it released at the perfect time. Billboard had just begun incorporating digital sales into their charts, giving Sean a huge edge. Initially, he debuted at 83 on the Billboard Hot 100, but it would skyrocket to the #1 spot with the formula change. It remained at the #1 spot for 4 weeks, dethroning the Plain White T's Hey There Delilah, and charted ahead of other legendary artists like Timbaland, Fergie, and Rihanna. The success from Beautiful Girls would carry into his debut self-titled album, which contributed other hits like Take You There and Me Love. Plus, real ones agree that Take You There is actually better than Beautiful Girls, but whatever. The album peaked at #6 on the Billboard 200 and was certified gold within a few months. Sean Kingston was the hot new up-and-comer with a fresh take on melodic, rap, R&B, and a sprinkle of Caribbean influence. He was invited to open up on tour for artists like Gwen Stefani and Beyonce, and even got to share the stage with Chris Brown, Lil Mama, Bow Wow, and Soulja Boy at Madison Square Garden in December of 2007. Sean went from sleeping in cars on the streets of Jamaica to performing one of the most coveted stages in the entertainment industry at only 17 years old. With fame like this, money followed. Sean now had the rapper lifestyle he could only dream of as a kid. Nice cars, watches, and clothes symbolizing his success as an artist. Many artists believe this type of fame and success will last forever, but sadly, this was the peak of Sean's career, and it was only going to go downhill from here. I've been looking to find the best deal on Thunder tickets, which is why I want to give the sponsor of today's video the way to eat his code Patly added to Sean's record 100, peaking at some album titled Thank You See Geek. After a couple of years touring across the globe, Sean dropped his sophomore album titled Tomorrow in September of 2009. Much like his previous record, the album had some standout tracks such as Fire Burnin', which spent 21 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 5 on the charts. The album itself was much less successful, peaking at 37 on the Billboard 200 before dropping off the list entirely 5 weeks later. However, Sean clearly had an immense talent for writing music and found other ways to top the charts. He co-wrote Jason Derulo's song What You Say, which also peaked at number 1, meaning Sean Kingston technically has 2 number 1 hits. He then collaborated with Justin Bieber on the track Eeny Meeny, which spent 18 weeks on the Billboard charts and peaked at number 15. And this could have been a great lane for Sean to just go all.
This is the problem that I had with the situation too. Sean Kingston was talented, so it's like, why you didn't find another way to profit off of your talent? Like, Tiffany, your talent? Like, what the fuck? That's what your talent is. Why did you have to turn to that? Lying to people, telling them, oh, Justin Bieber's gonna come and see you. Like, what the fuck? You were writing music for Justin Bieber. Why couldn't you, and I'm not saying that it's that's the only way he could have made his money was he was already rich. I just find it very, and I'm not gonna say money solve everything. I don't want to come off shallow or dumb right now, but you could have done other things, and maybe even if you weren't rich, you wouldn't be in jail. You get what I'm saying? Come on, man.
All the way in on. The life cycle of a popular artist is really difficult to predict. Songwriters can have much longer careers because they don't have to tour or maintain a brand, but that spotlight strokes the ego, and Sean didn't think it would ever fade. Unfortunately, life threw an unexpected twist when Sean was hospitalized after a nearly fatal jet ski accident.
I was going 75 miles per hour, and as I got close, jet ski doesn't have any brakes, so as I got close, I tried to slow down because I knew I couldn't make it under because the tide got high. It looked like I could have I could have went under, but as I got close to it, I started noticing that the tide, it was rising up. So I started going 75 miles per hour like that guy, and then I hit the bridge. And I tore my aorta, which is the tube that connects to your heart.
On top of his torn aorta.
So. Damn, that looked like it fucking hurt. So he tore his aorta riding the jet ski under the bridge when the tide was coming up. He said he was going 75 miles per hour, and the thing doesn't have any brakes. So why didn't you slow down or turn?
He had a broken jaw, wrist, and ribs. After 2 separate heart surgeries and 23 days in the hospital, Sean walked out alive and well. Sean worked hard to live a lifestyle where he could...
You see why God punished him? This is why God punished him. After you come out of the scene that you almost died, literally broke bones and your aorta, are you kidding me? And then you go back and you start thief, and you already thief life, you already got a second chance. Nah, bro.
Party all day and ride jet skis as much as he wanted, but now that same lifestyle he fought for had nearly killed him from throwing ragers at his mansion and getting sued for all the hole-covered walls he left behind when he moved out. Sean could have walked away from this accident with the realization that he was moving too fast, but it seems like that wasn't enough to teach him that lesson. After 4 years without a full-length release, Sean came back with his third album, Back to Life, in 2013. The album had a standout single, Beat It, featuring Chris Brown and Wiz Khalifa, started at 52, although the full-length LP failed to even touch the Billboard 200 chart.
That's his thing too. He's always trying to make bangers. He's a banger type of dude. He came out. I don't know much about the music scene or whatever, but if you're putting out an album 1, 2, and 1 and 2, and then only the singles make it? Isn't there a way you can just like make a collaboration of the singles? Like, why the hell you keep on coming out with these long ass videos and you're making, long ass albums? You're making quality music for other people. Do some shit like, what's his name? The Dream. Like, be on some shit like that. Like, so many of these artists, they write music for people you would never know. You could have done something like that. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Minakos or whatever. This decision is already done, but it's like people need to watch this and learn and take people lessons for their own too. Don't feel like you have to go through this to learn this damn lesson, because Sean should have learned this lesson. He was amongst too many millionaires and too many people that could have projected his career to end up like this.
And received generally negative reviews from critics. And this isn't surprising, considering Sean is more of a singles artist. He wasn't known for cohesive and immersive albums like Kanye West or even Chris Brown, who built bodies of work that fans consumed from front to back. Sean's success lived and died on the strength of singles, songs that dominated radio, lit up the clubs, and soundtracked the summer. And that's the danger of being a singles.
What's that other flow rider? Pitbull. Like, you was one of them. I'm sorry, you was one of them. You wasn't a full-blown, you wasn't it wasn't a Kendrick, it wasn't a Chris Brown, it wasn't a Kanye. I personally don't even, listen, I couldn't listen to a Sean Kingston album.
Driven artist. You need a constant stream of hits to stay relevant. Every summer, every radio cycle, every club, you have to deliver another anthem or the industry moves on. It had been 6 years since his peak, and Sean was not able to keep up with the modern club sound. But that doesn't mean he was in a tough spot financially or had to go back to sleeping in his car. It's a lasting legacy and generational wealth for himself and his family. Even then, he still had a loyal audience willing to follow his journey and the skills to continue writing music for himself and other artists. But it wasn't necessarily just about the money for Sean. It was about the status, the luxuries. And now that he was losing that, he became desperate and would embark on a life of crime just to maintain this lifestyle. Early cracks began to show in 2012 when it was revealed that Sean owed over $130,000 to the IRS after failing to pay his taxes in 2000.
Them always make the taxes catch up with them. Always make the taxes catch up with them. I don't understand. They always make the taxes catch up. Just pay them. Just pay it.
2009. Of course, rappers and hip-hop artists aren't particularly known for their love of paying taxes, but headlines discussing Sean's finances became more pervasive than headlines about his music, like when he had a run-in with law enforcement in the Dominican Republic in March of 2014. Hoping to have a fun Saturday night, Sean and his friends went to a nightclub called Euphoria, where they ran up a nearly $9,000 tab, buying drinks and smoking hookahs. When the night came to an end, Sean and his crew left without paying the bill, and the employees promptly called the police. Local law enforcement was able to track down Sean and his friends and inform them that if promptly called the police came to an end, Sean and his crew left without paying the bill, and the employees promptly called the police. Local law enforcement was able to track down Sean and his friends and inform them that if they didn't pay their bill, they would be arrested and forbidden to leave the country. Sean was deeply apologetic and explained that the managers had promised to take care of him, and as soon...
You're not even in America. You're not in Jamaica. You're in a foreign country, bro. And you thought they was gonna take care of you. Do you understand what they language? Do you even understand how to talk, what they talk? Why would they cover your bill? Why would you go there with the intention? And that's that kind of intention is something he didn't get that from off of being Sean, just the celebrity. That's the quality that his mother had. That's the type of mentality that the mother and the son have. They said he was gonna do it. Why should no? You went to a restaurant. You should have went there with the intention to pay. How you gonna go there with the intention to just leave the shit like that? That doesn't make any sense. And then you mad or now you're apologizing. Don't apologize to me. Where the check at? Where the money at? Fuck, nobody want to hear that.
Assumed that meant his service would be complimentary. He returned later that night and paid the tab. And
$9,000 complimentary meal. What the fuck you for what? Oh. I wish I had a $9,000 complimentary rent bill for somebody to pay for me.
could have been just a big misunderstanding. However, you'll notice that even small things like this were an insight into Sean's sneaky, scammy, sinister pattern of behavior. A few months later in August, Sean was sued for over $1 million by a jewelry seller named Avi the Jeweler. The two had a business relationship dating all the way back to 2008, where Sean had picked up a bunch of different jewelry items, including a $35,000 44-karat watch, a $150,000 custom pendant with his initials, and a diamond-encrusted Jesus piece, with the total price being over $200,000.
$200,000 on jewelry that you owed, I'm sorry. And he wants an additional $1 million in punitive damage. He's dragging it, but you owe $220-something thousand in jewelry, and how you owe more in jewelry than the taxes, bro? And you still ain't paid the taxes, bro?
Avi was given 7 different checks that were supposed to cover all the costs, but they all bounced when he tried to cash them out. Sean had also borrowed a $12,000 ring, and he never returned it, bringing the grand total to approximately $226K. But Avi wanted more in punitive damages, and even though initially Sean and his team said that this was just incorrect, they never even bothered to fight the lawsuit, resulting in the judge defaulting on the case and ordered him to pay out $356,000 in damages to Avi. Now, losing out on money like that should have taught Sean a valuable lesson. But things only managed to get worse, and his run-ins with jewelers became more and more frequent and somehow more bizarre. Sean filed a report to the Los Angeles Police Department alleging that he had been kidnapped during a jewelry deal gone wrong. After getting a $225,000 watch from a business called Avion Jewelers, Sean got a bad case of buyer's remorse. He paid out $185K worth of installments before refusing to pay another cent, believing that the watch he bought wasn't worth the price that he was being charged. This obviously caused conflict between him and the jeweler, so they decided to...
You cannot go into somebody's establishment. I get bargaining and negotiating, fine, but you cannot agree to a price and pay a portion of the price and say, oh, well, this isn't worth that anyway, so I'm not giving you no more money. Okay, so since you're not giving me all the money, give me back the watch. What do you expect people... Why do you feel like because your name is Sean Kingston, people are supposed to let that shit go like that? Like, are you dumb? The fuck?
Set up an in-person meeting to solve the issue. And like most legitimate business deals, the meeting took place in a downtown Los Angeles parking lot on a random Tuesday night at 2 in the morning. What could possibly go wrong? Sean got in the car with the intention of returning the watch and swapping it for a different piece. That's when one of the jeweler's crew members snatched the watch from his hands, locked the car, drove him away from the parking lot, and dumped him in a back alley. Sean tweeted, "Love all the fans, I'm okay."
Sean Kingston looked like somebody could have just picked up and dumped somewhere. Could you pick up Sean Kingston and just dump him somewhere?
And safe. It just hurts to work so hard for something and have someone thinking they can just take it from you. While this seems like wise words we can all agree with, this is incredibly ironic coming from the guy who is actively entrenched in a life of scamming others. However, when Sean tried to pursue justice through the legal system, the investigating officers found the entire situation to be extremely suspicious and felt that the case was best suited for civil court. But Sean decided he wasn't going to take the case to court, and that seems strange on the surface. Then it starts to make sense when you take a closer look. You see, rumors about Sean's potential financial struggles had been rising around the time his Bentley G-Wagon and Lamborghini were repossessed. It became even more clear that Sean was
Why are you making payments on these? Bro, I feel like there were so many people before our generation that showed us what and what not to do when you get rich, bro. I feel like these type of situations should not be happening to people like Sean Kingston. He's still fairly young, right? He's not in his 40s yet. You was in a time when I was growing up, so you had you was around certain things. You definitely should have learned from Lil Wayne and all those people who fucking Wesley Snipes, all the people that didn't pay their damn taxes, right? You should have also known, if not from the older people, the younger people, to buy your shit. Oh, cause these young people out here, they're not getting taken out no loans. They dropping everything on it and walking out with their vehicle. So when things like this happen, you can't come and just take my shit. Come on. All the G-Wagon, Bentley, all of this stuff.
In a tough spot after he got sued.
This is depressing. I would be fucking depressed if that was Sean Kingston, bro. This is from from before he got locked up. Like, what the hell?
By his own lawyer. Supposedly, Sean had racked up a $17,000 bill from James Gangitano for legal services provided sometime in May of 2013. Now, being broke and trying to get one over on a jewelry dealer, it almost makes sense. But scamming your own lawyer takes a special kind of stupid. With his repossessed sports cars and seemingly an empty bank account, Sean had hit rock bottom financially. But now he was in too deep, watching.
If he had bought them, he could have sold them and got some money in his pocket, bro. Come on.
Everything he built slip away only inspired him to do whatever he could to maintain this flashy rapper lifestyle. He kept scamming, and he kept getting sued for it. In March of 2016, a new lawsuit against Sean was filed by Haymoff Jewelers. Sean had traded in a used Rolex for a new $59,000 watch and a $19,000 bracelet, but never paid off the remaining $25,000 balance, despite promising to pay the next day. Judge ruled in the jeweler's favor and ordered Sean to pay out
Niggas be renting watches? I didn't know that was a thing.
$44,000 in restitution. From here, Sean just kept racking up lawsuits like it was his full-time job. August of 2016, he was sued by another New York City jeweler named Aquamaster, who alleged that he had a $300,000 tab that had gone unpaid. After picking up 9 different pieces of jewelry, he claimed that his manager would send a wire transfer for the full amount. Instead, they received 2 checks, both of which bounced. Sean got sued by yet another jeweler in April of 2017, who claimed that Sean bought a...
Why are you doing this to yourself? What is it with the jewelry, bro? Y'all like to have chains around y'all neck? It's not cute, bro. Not when you going broke like this, bro. That don't make no damn sense. You owe so many people so much money over the same thing. All of these are jewelers. I don't mind a nice... Listen, get your jewelry if you have to, but if you gotta go broke to get this shit, leave it alone. Like, this is...
a $46,000 Rolex with 10 grand up front, but sent checks for the remaining amount that also ended up bouncing. I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record with me basically telling the same story over and over again, but that's just the reality of Sean Kingston's life at this point. It had been over a decade since Beautiful Girls had topped the charts, and now the only thing being discussed in interviews were his legal troubles.
Different situations as far as your jewelry, right? That, like, of course, all the jewelers seem to always be coming after you with lawsuits and things like that. Like, why is it that they keep on coming after you? Always some tricky stuff to it. Like, what is going on with that?
I have paperwork with every jeweler that I ever did business with. But I'm a jeweler.
Sir, the man is just a lie. Well, you got paperwork with every jeweler. What does that mean? You don't have a receipt? Where's your receipt from the jewelers? That's what we want to see.
I said, okay, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that.
Yeah.
And they'll say, okay, 350,000. My bad. It'll come to more than 350. It'll come to like 3 something, like 380. I'll give them 350. And they'll say you have a balance, so the rest of the 30,000 you were gonna do in payments. If I'm late on one payment, it's not I'm late on the payment because I don't have the money to pay you. I'm late on the payment because my mom handles my business and she's all over the place doing a million things at once because I don't have a business manager. So when I'm late on that payment, it's not like I can't pay for it. No, the money is there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I live in a house, I pay $35,000 a month. That's over $300,000 a year.
Yeah, you do have
So when I'm late on that payment, it's not like I can't pay for it. No, the money is there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I live in a house, I pay $35,000 a month. That's over.
$35,000 a month on rent. $300,000 a year on a house that's not yours, bro. This don't make no sense. What the fuck?
Over $300,000 a year.
Yeah, you do have an elevator in your crib.
I do have an elevator in my crib. So how is Sean Kingston broke? I have 4 properties I own.
Yeah, broke.
In Port St. Lucie. One in Tampa, 3 in Port St. Lucie, Florida. Like, I have money coming in, but it's just that these people are very, very, and no disrespect to jewelers, but they're very, very money hungry, and they only look at clients as a dollar sign, and that's not right.
Sean's life at this point is essentially trying to prove to anyone and everyone that he is good for the money. But we know that was a lie. During the court trial with his former lawyer,
I feel like even before he even gets into the Justin Bieber shit, like, this alone lets you know this guy was fucked up, bro. He was on something. He's literally a pathological liar.
Sean was ordered to reveal all of his personal financial information. Within these court documents, Sean confessed that he owned no property or vehicles and was currently living with his mother. His bank statement showed one account with only $6.96 and two other accounts that were both in the negative. Sean was broke, but that didn't mean he was exempt from future litigation. The judge ordered Sean to pay out another $300,000 to settle his case with Aquamaster Jeweler. It was also reported in late 2020 that a warrant was placed for Sean's arrest on charges of grand theft after failing to pay for jewelry that was delivered to his home. Sean's legacy went from a chart-topping pop star to a relentless scammer. With no money and facing hundreds of thousands of dollars in court costs, it's a miracle that Sean wasn't locked up for skipping out on payments. It's also a miracle that he found a way to get one last chance to turn his life around, but he ruined it. Despite being irrelevant for a decade, he managed to sign a multi-million-dollar record deal with Empire Records.
You know what? I'm all cleared up. You know what I'm saying? I don't owe nobody no jewelry. I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got like I said, I did a $4.2 million deal with Empire. You know what I mean? And I'm blessed.
And another thing too, when we talk about like,
and as soon as I got that, I started clearing up all this because I ain't want no karma. I believe in karma and I believe in doing. You feel me? So I made sure the first thing I did was just clear up a lot of the stuff that I needed to. You know?
Unsurprisingly, Sean's 2022 album, Road to Deliverance, saw no placements on the charts and next to no traction on streaming services. It was an utter failure. And although stings, he was able to use his record deal money to pay off his debts. Somehow, throughout all these scams, he was able to avoid jail or brutal retaliation from someone he wronged. But the pressure to maintain this rapper lifestyle was too high. Sean had grown too comfortable with the jewelry, the expensive nightclubs, the mansions by the beach. At first, it seemed like a little tax slip-up, a nightclub misunderstanding, or a bad deal with a jeweler. But the pattern became undeniable. He had gotten away with it for far too long, and that desperation eventually led him to the one place he thought he'd never be, in federal prison.
Now, a very active scene outside of a home connected to rapper Sean Kingston. Dozens of deputies have been going in and out all day long, and now we've learned his mother